And he's struggling, holding it together, wondering if the people around him recognize what's going on. You know, he's back from deployment. He's back and has been back for quite a while. But does anybody know the daily battle that Marcus faces? Does anybody hear him? Does anybody know what he constantly faces?
Can I help? Who's next?
It was a long, exhausting day. Tabitha is struggling. She needs her cup of coffee. She's coming into Mad Goat. She's thinking about what just happened, why she's so exhausted from a late night of not sleeping. You see, Tabitha, she works for Child Protective Services, and she's been struggling with sleep for quite some time. You see, she had a call recently that just shattered her. She went to this call, and there were 4 children that were in a horrible situation, and she had to remove the children. And when she was there for the investigation, the dad became irate, and he began making threats and made it unsafe. And so the police were called, and Tabitha watched in horror as these children, which she came to protect, they watched their dad be put in handcuffs and placed in a squad car. Tabitha did her protocol for a child protective service worker, and she took the kids and she took them back to the office, trying to normalize and make everything okay. But they weren't okay. They couldn't find placement that night, and so those 4 children slept on the floor in the office while Tabitha struggled to get those thoughts and images out of her mind of what she had just experienced and what these poor kids were going through as they were separated from their family. Well, as Tabitha is at Mad Goat, she hears a voice, a familiar voice of someone in the coffee shop that sounds familiar. It sounds like the voice of the dad of those children she removed, and she is paralyzed with fear, thinking that it's him. Even though she knows that he is safe, he's been taken into custody, her body and her mind respond as if he is there. And she's taken back. The lights, the screaming, the crying, she is right there in that instant. She looks around. She's struggling to hold it together, and she looks around to everybody in the coffee shop. Does anybody know me? Does anybody know what's going on for me and the struggle that I have? Does anybody know the burden that I carry for all the children and families that I take care of on a daily basis?
Hey, Tabitha, your order's ready. Can I help? Who's next?
A young, beautiful family is enjoying their coffee and their hot chocolate, and they're trying to pretend as if everything is okay. For the last several months, this family has gone to appointment after appointment after appointment, trying to find answers of what was going on with their precious child. The mom looks at Dad and notices the tears in his eyes as they try to hold it together. You see, moments before coming into the coffee shop, they received the most awful call from the doctor's office. We found something. We need to see you immediately. They sat there trying to pretend as if everything was okay. Mom's thinking, why didn't I see this earlier? Why didn't I catch this? She wants to scream. She wants to run away. She wants to get away from all of it, all at the same time. And she looks at Dad, and there's the glance of, how are we going to tell our precious child of what's going on? Although they hold it together in the situation, they're struggling. And as they look around, they're wondering, does anybody know the pain that we're going through? Does anybody know what's really happening? And is there anybody out there really listening?
was hungry, you fed me. Naked, you clothed me. They will know us by our love.
Can't imagine how you felt as you laid there, through the dark, through the heat, through the cold.
With your friend by your side, held his hand, watched him die, and cried as you prayed for his soul.
I can't imagine how you felt as you stood there, through the winds that would just not blow away.
Kiss my wife, tell my son, my work on earth is done. You're the one that can still hear them say, ooh.
Is there anybody out there listening? Does anybody know my name? No, my friend, we were not there, but we're here and we care. And yes, we feel your pain. And yes, we feel your pain.
Can't imagine how you felt as you sat there, trying to hide the fear upon your face. As the earth begins to cry, and you ask the preacher why, tonight we can hear the children say, hear them say,
Is there anybody out there listening? And does anybody know my name?
No, my friend, we were not there, but we're here and we care. And yes, we feel your pain.
And does anybody out there know me?
Do you know
Can
me?
you stop the clock and make this go away? No, my friend, we were not there, but God can and He cares. And yes, He feels your pain. And yes, He feels your pain. Please, can anybody see? Because my faith is getting weak. Don't know how much more I can take. Hear my heart and please don't delay.
Is there anybody out there listening? Does anybody know my name?
Oh, my friend, we were not there, but we're here and we care. And yes, we feel your pain.
Is there anybody out there listening?
does anybody know?
Does anybody know my name?
No, my friend, we were not there.
But God can and He can.
And yes, He heals your pain.
Please stop the clock and make this go away.
My friend, we were not there.
But God can and He cares.
Yes, He feels your pain.
Oh, yes,
He feels your pain. Yes, He feels your
pain.
The clock is ticking. We hear you. We see you.
Oh, my, oh, my.
He's got the whole world in His hand. Oh,
He's got the whole world in His hand.
You and me, sister, He's got us in His hands. Ooh.
Her heart was still pounding. Nia and her son arrived to Mad Goat. She was still in shock of what had taken place. See, Nia, on her way in, somebody yelled out a racial slur out their window to her. Nia looked at her son, and she knew that he heard it. She was still in shock. Is this really happening? As she stood there, you know, Nia's faced a lot of tough things. Nia's a strong individual, but the color of her skin has been something of attack, way more than people will ever know. And as she's trying to hang out with her son and act like everything's normal, she can't help but worry about him. Is he going to continue to experience this all his life? When will this stop? And as she's looking at her son with concern, she starts to think and hear the stories of her mom and her grandfather and other people who faced racist acts. And she knows things have come a long way, but she's wondering, when is this going to change? When is somebody going to see us, going to hear us, and know that our lives do matter?
I can help whoever's next.
It was the cologne. It was the smell. You see, Lily, as she walked in, she caught a whiff of someone's cologne that smelled like her attackers. And in that instant, she was frozen and she was taken right back to the moment of the attack. And struggling to hold it together, she couldn't even get the words out to place her order. She began to wonder, does anybody know what's really happening? Does anybody know what's happening inside as I'm trying to hold it together? She starts to think, nobody knows. Do they blame me? Do they blame me for this? Do they think it was my fault? Is anybody ever going to believe my story?
To make certain when the world full of people and you can lose sight of it all, and the darkness still inside you makes you feel so small. I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors. That's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors are beautiful like the Take it all.
Jeremiah is here while his foster mom meets with the caseworker. He comes to get his hot chocolate to try and settle his nerves because these meetings usually aren't good. You see, Jeremiah's been in 14 foster homes, 12 different schools, constant change, constant disruption. And now he's sitting in a very familiar place, waiting for his foster parent and the caseworker to get done with their meeting without him. As he's enjoying his hot chocolate, his mind goes back. You see, the last time he was with his biological family, he was enjoying some hot chocolate, and he spilt the hot chocolate, which made his dad irate. And then Jeremiah got scared, and he ran out of the house. And when he ran to the police, and he told them about his parents' drug use and the abuse in the home. And he wonders, man, if I hadn't done that, maybe I'd still be with him. Maybe my family would still be together. He was wondering, what's going to happen? Is this the time that my foster mom gives up on me again? When will somebody stick with me? When will someone believe in me? Yeah, he knows he's got anger struggles, and he knows that last night was a tough night. But he's hoping and praying for somebody. Will somebody fight for me? Will somebody be there and believe in him? When is somebody going to start fighting for him?
Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow. But if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow.
Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on.
Please swallow your pride. If you have faith, you need to borrow, for no one can fill all of your needs if you won't let it show.
Lean on me.
On your brother,
Hey,
you need a hand.
you need
We
a
all
friend.
need somebody to lean on.
You just
Might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on.
Just lean on me.
On my brother,
Hey,
you need a hand.
you need
We
a
all
friend.
need somebody to lean on. You just might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Ooh, if there is a load, there's a load you have to bear that you can't carry. I'm right up the road, and I'll share your load if you just call me. Oh, call me. Oh, call me. If you need a friend, call me. You better call me. Call me. Yeah, yeah. Call me. You better call me. Call me. You better call me. Call me. Yeah. Call me.
Oh, it won't be long, for I'm gonna need somebody to lean on.
Lean on.
Lean
Oh,
on
you can lean on me.
Lean on me.
Lean on me.
I said you can lean on me.
Lean on me.
Oh, somebody better understand.
To lean
Oh,
somebody to lean on. Yeah. Woo!
now what?
So incredible, right? Thank you so much. So, just a couple things for you as you go tonight. Tomorrow we will start back. The space will open at 8 o'clock, and we will kick off at 9 o'clock with Dr. Bruce Perry, and he's going to be bringing us a presentation talking about how we can take this work of trauma and we can understand how trauma has impacted the brain and work and whether we're in the schools or we're a clinician, wherever, how do we change the work in a sequential process? And so that will be at 9 o'clock. We'll be here till lunchtime. Then you'll have lunch on your own, and then we will go down to the Civic Center, and you can go to your breakout presentations. If you are online and you are attending, you do not need to register for your particular presentation, your breakout presentation. You'll use the conference web app, and you'll click the Zoom link that is posted there to enjoy your presentation. Whether you're able to stay here in person or you kind of go back and forth, you can use the conference web app, and this will store all of the information. So if you liked a presentation and you want to go back and view it again, you can go back to the conference web app, and we have access to all of this until August 1st, which I think I'm going to go back and listen to you guys singing a lot between now and August 1st. So, yes. So, thank you. The thing that I think of with Brian and Gina is the power of connection and stories, and that is the role that each one of you plays in the children and families that you serve. And so thank you for being that place, that being willing to come here and take your time to learn more about how you can be effective in changing lives, because I really truly believe that a rising tide does raise all ships, and that the work here is lifting everybody up so that we can be more effective in changing the world. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you back here tomorrow morning.